Hey everyone, if you're on the fence about upgrading to a high-end OLED TV this year, the Samsung S90D might actually be the one worth pulling the trigger on. I know, another big screen TV claim, but hear me out after living with this thing for a few weeks. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the picture quality is next level. We're talking Samsung's latest OLED panel here, and it delivers those deep blacks and crisp whites that make movies feel like you're right there in the scene. I watched a late-night thriller with dark scenes, and even in a dimly lit room, I could still make out details in the shadows without any weird glow or halo effect. That's the kind of clarity you don't get with cheaper LED TVs. Plus, the 4K AI Upscaling is surprisingly good. It takes lower-res content and makes it look sharp enough that you won't feel like you're watching a downgraded version. I tested it with an old Blu-ray and some streaming shows that aren't even 4K, and it held up way better than I expected. Now, if you're into gaming, this TV has some serious perks. The Motion Xcelerator 144Hz refresh rate means fast-moving scenes, whether it's a car chase in a movie or a quick flick of the wrist in a game, stay smooth without that annoying blur. I played a few rounds of a fast-paced shooter, and the motion clarity was crisp, even during rapid camera movements. The 4K AI upscaling also helps here, making older games look a bit more modern without losing that retro feel. And if you're worried about input lag, it's pretty minimal, so competitive gamers shouldn't feel like they're at a disadvantage. Sound is another area where this TV shines. Samsung's object tracking sound Lite works with Dolby Atmos to make it feel like the audio is coming from right where it should be on screen. I tested it with a few action scenes, and the explosions and footsteps had a real sense of direction, almost like you're in the middle of the scene. It's not quite a full surround sound setup, but for a TV, it's impressively immersive. If you're someone who doesn't want to deal with a soundbar or a full speaker system, this is a solid step up from the tinny audio you usually get with TVs. The NQ4 AI Gen 2 processor is the brains behind all this. It handles upscaling, HDR, and even optimizes the picture based on what you're watching. I noticed it adjusting brightness and contrast automatically when I switched from a bright daytime scene to a dark nighttime scene in a movie. It's not perfect, sometimes it overcorrects a little, but it's a nice touch for folks who don't want to fiddle with settings every time they change the channel. The design is sleek too. The ultra-slim profile and minimal bezels make it look like a floating screen, which is great if you're going for that modern, clean aesthetic in your living room. The stand is sturdy, and the TV sits low enough that it doesn't block your view if you're sitting on the floor or a low couch. Plus, the One Connect box keeps all the cables tidy, so you won't have a mess of wires cluttering up your setup. Now, it's not all perfect. The brightness can struggle a bit in really bright rooms. If you've got tons of windows and you're watching during the day, you might need to crank up the backlight or close some curtains. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if your living room is super sunny. Also, while the sound is better than most TVs, it's still not as rich or powerful as a dedicated sound system. If you're an audiophile, you'll probably want to pair it with a soundbar or speakers eventually. All in all, the Samsung S90D is a fantastic all-rounder. It's got the picture quality, gaming chops, and smart features that make it worth the investment if you're serious about your home entertainment. The link is below if you want to check it out.